Thanks for tuning in to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. Here you'll find tips, insight, and information to help your music and your ministry succeed. Whether you're a singer, a musician, or a songwriter, we want to help you where you are, but we also want to help you get to where you want to go. We believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with those are our gift back to God. Yesterday's information is important, but what we can learn today will make this the best day yet. The Charles Novell School of Music will be coming to Cincinnati, Ohio, Friday and Saturday, November 14th and 15th for a weekend training session. We will meet at McKelvey Road Baptist Church there in Cincinnati. And the weekend will consist of vocal training, instrumental, songwriting, social media, performance, and so much more. CNS wants to see you succeed in your music and your ministry. For more information on this weekend training session, visit us at www.cnsmusic.com. We hope to see you there. Welcome back to another episode of the CNS podcast, The Best Day Yet. I hope that this finds you having your best day yet. We love saying that. My dad said that for 58 years over the school, and we would break from devotions and head off to class. Dad would say, hey, you thought yesterday was good, or, we're excited about Thursday, but today is going to be the best day yet. So, man, there is power in speaking positive things over our lives, over our walks, over our music, over our day. The word says that there is power in our tongue. We can speak positive things, or we can, in return, we can get negative and we can speak negative things over our life. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We are talking about the importance of confidence, the importance of what we do on a level of confidence that will help us in getting our music, but more importantly, the ministry, the message of our music forward to our listeners when we do it from a place of confidence. Hey, we are fresh back and off of our first post-CNS 25, our first CNS regional weekend sessions. We met in the big booming metropolis of Evening Shade, Arkansas, over last weekend, and we had an amazing time. Jen went with me, and we traveled out. We just enjoyed ourselves getting out there. Then once we were there, again, 420, when we drove into Evening Shade, we saw the sign there that said population 420. And that caught us off guard, because where we left from, our county here in Georgia is just shy of 1 million people. And if you don't believe me, come here and drive around and you'll believe me. And we are just one of 4 or 5 counties in the in the Atlanta area. Y'all, it's crazy. We took us forever, literally, to get out of town. GPS routed us around 285 versus we had to head 85 into Atlanta and then hop on 20. We cut over west through Alabama on Interstate 20. So it took us, instead of taking us downtown Atlanta, apparently GPS, thought 285 would be quicker. And it was literally a parking lot all the way around from 85 to 20 on our route there on 285. So we did not experience that kind of traffic in Evening Shade, but man, we had an absolute great time. The Ferris family that attends CNS hosted the event for us, and we're just so hospitable. Is that a word? It is today. In hosting the event, we had a good group of students there. Our regionals are small, intimate settings by design. We like for it to be anywhere from, say, 12 to 20 people. We like to have those smaller settings over those weekend sessions, but we covered everything from vocal to performance to songwriting. We speaked on how to properly talk. We spoke on the importance of being confident in what we do. That just seemed to kind of be an overriding theme during the weekend. We have a class called Performance Training. That's where the students get up and do what they do. And my staff that is with me, we critique those performances. We had Tim Owens and Pastor John Groves with us at this event, as well as myself and Jen. And we just kept coming back to this word of confidence. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about the importance of having confidence in our performance. Now, we've talked about this for years. I believe there's a thin line between carrying yourself confidently or being cocky, and nobody likes that person. Nobody likes, that individual that thinks they are all that and the bag of chips. Mike Presnell, the bass singer in Perfect Heart that I traveled with back in the day, he had a saying. He said, man, I'd like to buy them for what they're worth and sell them for what they think they're worth. And there was so much truth in that statement. Man, I have replayed that statement in my mind many a times over the years. We're not saying that, but we're saying to come out and confidently do what it is that you do. So we're going to talk about some things today as to how we can achieve some characteristics of musical confidence within our music. Jeff Stice, you've heard me mention him. Jeff was not only a great musician and a great mentor and teacher in my life, but he was a great friend. He was my big brother. And Jeff was one of the best in tiptoeing that line between being confident and being cocky. I had people all the time say, hey man, is Jeff full of himself? And man, I would just laugh, because Jeff was absolutely one of the most humble individuals I'd ever been around in my life. And, was so gifted and so talented. When he sat down at the piano, he played 100% from a place of confidence. He was called there to do something, and he was going to be obedient and do that. And every time he sat down, he wanted to do it to the best of his ability. I mentioned Mike and I mentioned Jeff. I traveled with both of those in Perfect Heart. We had a fun thing heading out to Evening Shade, Arkansas. We went through Jonesboro, Arkansas last Friday. And a neat thing for me when Jen is traveling with me, my years with Perfect Heart, got to do a lot of things. Growing up, scoping and hoping, I just wanted to get on a bus and travel and use my music for the Lord. Anywhere he would open that door. And the cool thing is we literally traveled. I remember being in every state except for California in my time in Perfect Heart. So as Jen and I are traveling the country, it's really neat. So we'll pass a road sign on the highway, and I'll be like, hey, such and such church or such and such auditorium. I was there with Perfect Heart in 93 or 92. I can remember the place. I can remember the venue. I can remember pretty close to the exact time. So as we were going through Jonesboro, I got off and we went to what is called the Forum in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And Perfect Heart recorded a project called Live at the Forum in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And it was really neat to drive up. Nothing was happening. It was early afternoon. That side of Jonesboro was a little slow to maybe dead in activity on that particular Friday early afternoon. But it was neat because I parked the car right across from the side of the auditorium and literally saw where our bus was parked. And we had been to the Forum in Jonesboro numerous times, but that Live at the Forum recording is what took me in there last Friday. And the Magruders recorded a live video that same night. And great friend and a great guitarist that was traveling with Magruders at the time, David Creech. He set in on that project. We had a really good band. It was Jeff Stice on piano, Kevin Metz, we called him Bird, was playing drums, David Creech on guitar, and I was playing bass guitar. So it was neat. As we pulled up there to the auditorium, we had been listening to the Live at the Forum project. If you've not heard it, it's on all the streaming platforms. Search Perfect Heart Live at the Forum. Give that thing a listen. Great project with Danny Funderburk, Dale Shipley, Mark Lanier, Mike Presnell, Jeff Stice, myself, and Kevin Metz. Those 7 were Perfect Heart in that era. And then again, David Creech was in the building, so we had Creech set in with us. He had done. We did all kinds of sessions together. Jeff, myself, David. So it was neat to have him set in and be part of that project. And listening back, to hear what a gift that David Creech had to play the guitar. And it was mixed emotions though, because David is home, Jeff is home, and just was really a little mixed emotions in listening to it. But a great, fun little thing to show Jen last Friday. Back to our topic again. Jeff would, those years with Perfect Heart is where I learned to approach my music from a place of confidence, because Jeff set the bar, and man, he wanted to make sure that when we went out there, that we were shucking the corn every night. He wanted to make sure that we were doing our part within our place in Perfect Heart, being the band, that we were ready to go and that we'd go out and we would do what we would do. So again, we're talking confidence today. And I think this, I've shared this story before. I don't think you can confidently, or let me say it this way. Let me back up. I don't think we can effectively minister a song to an audience if we do not confidently know the material that we're trying to deliver. I've talked about sales in the past. I remember around 2006, I was shopping for a Ford Explorer, and I remember driving up to the Ford dealership and driving down the lot of the cars, and they had about 50 Explorers about 2/3 of the way back in the parking lot, all parked together. So I drove back to those, and I didn't even get out of the car. Salesman started tapping on my window. Don't like that. Let me get out of the car, or roll down my window at least. So I got out, and he said, "You looking for an Explorer?" And I'm like, I'm looking around. There's nothing but Explorers. And I'm like, no, I'm here for a Pinto. No, of course, I'm parked by the Explorers, so that's what I'm looking for. And he said, "Man, that's a shame." He said, "This is only my second day on the job. I don't know anything about Ford Explorers." Now, I worked for Toyota for 8 years, so if this has been the Toyota lot and you were looking for a Highlander, I could tell you everything about that automobile. And man, I'm thinking quite a bit at that time to myself, but what came out was, could you get me a salesman that does know about Ford Explorers? Because I have some questions. And my point there is, how can you sell something that you don't know anything about? So that's kind of the same thing in our delivery within ministry. Here's the deal. If we are not getting the message of the songs across, being in Christian music, then it is just simply music and simply entertainment. So I believe first and foremost, we have to know our music inside and out to be able to play it from that place of confidence. So let's talk a little first today about some characteristics of having musical confidence. Expressive rather than performative. What do I mean by that? It's about honest self-expression. When we're delivering our music, it should be from our heart. We need to know the material. We need to convictedly believe in our music, and we are delivering it from a place of self-expression. Kind of a good example is like a child playing, rather than seeking validation or instead of just trying to get the crowd to accept what we do, it really shouldn't matter. We should be doing this for an audience of one. We are called to do something. I know when I'm out ministering, I try to block out everything going on around me, because God has given me that opportunity to stop in whatever place that is and minister to his people. So I'm not there trying to at the end of the service, when I'm at my product table, I'm not looking for somebody to come by and say, you know what, that was the best thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't want to hear that, because I know that it's not the best thing that they've ever heard. What I want them to come by and say is, hey, that really ministered to me this morning. I'm going through something, and when you were talking about that certain thing, and then you went into that song, man, the Lord had you stop by to share that with me today. That's what I'm looking for. And the childlike thing that I talked about a while ago, in teaching, man, I've got a couple kids that they just come in, and you know what? They're going to give me what they have to offer me that day. They may have practiced a lot and it may be really good, or practice might have been limited that week. But you know what? They come in my room, they sit down, and they play from this place of confidence, to the extent that here it is. This is what I've got. This is what you get. So the second thing, overcoming self-consciousness. A lot of times what keeps us from playing confidently is we need to allow ourselves to be natural and express freely, without getting caught up in whether we're good enough or if people will like it. The comparison game, man, it's easy to step up in front of people and worry, is this going to go over? Am I going to be accepted? Man, I got rid of that years ago. One of my favorite things, I usually do about 3 songs, and then I'll stop and speak and look out at the crowd. And a lot of times in that moment, there are people looking at me going, who is this guy? Why is he here? Where's our pastor? And does he know what time we get out of church? And some people, man, that would wreck them. That just makes them a nervous wreck. Honestly, y'all, that fuels me. That those moments, because I showed up with the predetermined thought of trying to reach every single person in that room. So those that are looking at me like, bless me if you can, challenge accepted. So I'm not worried about, is this going to be good enough? Is this going to go over? Man, it's what God's given me. It's what they're going to get that day. The next thing, another good characteristic of musical confidence, is embracing imperfections. That means accepting and being comfortable with your limitations and your flaws, which can make your music unique while still working on improving your music. A podcast to come, because it's a podcast that I'm listening to and studying currently. Virality versus growth. We need to be at whatever season you're at. Sunday morning, this particular Sunday morning, I will be ministering in Charlotte, North Carolina. And you know what? I have songs prepared. I'm going to be speaking as well. I have a message the Lord has laid on my heart to share with those people. And you know what? Can I play some of the stuff I plan on playing Sunday better? Probably. Absolutely, I can. But you know what? It's prepared. It's ready to go. So I'm going to walk in there and confidently do that. The same thing with my speaking. As I get up and share a message that God's laid on my heart, I'm going to do that from a place of confidence. However, I'm still working on improving what I do. So virality versus growth. Too many people in this fast-paced society that we live in, they are just looking to do something and that video go viral. And they think if they can get that done, they've achieved, they've reached. But you know what? The next time they go out, they're going to sound the same way because they haven't done anything in the growth department. So we should constantly be looking at improving what we do. So how do we build music confidence? Here's a few things today. Number one, practice consistently. Sing or play a little every day to build skill and comfort. Key words in there, 2 words, every day. Repetition. The success of your music solely depends on being repetitive with it. We can't just, with what we do in ministry, we're going out on weekends. We can't be doing anything during the week or not doing anything during the week and expect next Sunday to go better than last Sunday. It's, the very definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Think about our personal walks with the Lord. If we don't do something on a daily basis to grow in our relationship with Him, then we're never going to get completely to where He wants us to get. Well, Rob, there's life, there's problems, there's this. I get that. That's why there's a scripture that says, pick up your cross every day and follow Him. He never promised that all of this was going to be easy. We just have to find a way consistently to work on improving what it is that we do. A unique way that you can do that, and we've talked about this before, record and listen back. Record yourself and listen without judgment to identify both what sounds good and those areas that need improvement. I share this with my students all the time. It is such a good way of us hearing what the audience hears. Record it, play it back, critique it. Now, you can take that one step further. If you want to see what the audience is seeing, video yourself, play that back, and critique it. Again, it'll identify both what sounds good and what needs to be improved upon. Next one, start with smaller performances. This works for some people, and full disclaimer, this is probably opposite for me, kind of kryptonite for me. So start with smaller performances. Perform for one person at a time to get used to playing in front of others. Now, so much validity in that. However, for me, I was sharing this story in Arkansas. I think the largest crowd I played in front of was Freedom Hall when the National Quartet Convention was in Louisville, Kentucky at Freedom Hall, 17,000 people on those sold out nights. That was easier for me than when there's, the 20, 25 at Christmas around the house and they're like, Rob, sit down and play. Those moments, smaller crowds are harder on me than larger crowds, but a lot of good things there. We mentioned this earlier. Here's the next point. Use positive self-talk. Refrain negative thoughts and use affirmations of positive things to boost your mindset, reduce anxiety, and improve your focus. Too many people in my life currently, students, and then people, that I just do life with, lead in with, this isn't going to be that good. I didn't get enough time to practice. I could have worked harder. I get all that. But that goes back to what we said earlier, like that child mentality. That 7-year-old is not coming in my room and giving me their laundry list of excuses. They just sit down and it's Mr. Rob, here's what I did, here's what you get. So if we can start breaking those chains in our lives, our music, our ministries, of the negative thinking. My dad would call it, Rob, stop that stinking thinking. And, it's so true. So true, y'all. Maybe the biggest thing we can get out of this today in the area of confidence, if we can start speaking positive affirmation over what God has called us to do. I know kind of I'll let you in a little on my personal walk. Every day I'm asking the Lord to forgive me for anything in my life, sin-wise, confessed or unconfessed, that could hold me back from where He needs me to be. So within our music, again, those moments of finding both the good and the bad in what we do, man, if we can start speaking positive things, maybe instead of I didn't get to practice in, I wanted to get in, man, I'm thankful for the practice I got in this week, Rob. At times, that's how I have to personally approach me. I have so many irons in the fire I really probably should have been an octopus because I got all these arms holding different things into the fire. It's in my DNA. I am Charles Robert Novell II, so I don't know anything but fifth gear, full speed, 100 miles an hour ahead. But in that, sometimes personally, I feel like I'm doing so many things good that I can't focus on doing one thing great. But I have to use those areas of positive affirmation. Okay, well, I got this time in today. Maybe I didn't get what I wanted to get in, but you know what? In lieu of everything going on, man, it's kind of, there's days it's impressive that I find time to sit down and practice, but it's vitally important in what we do. Lean into your strengths. I teach this way with my students. I build on their strengths and help them develop their weaknesses. Practice what you're good at to quickly feel a sense of accomplishment. That's going to give you the motivation then to jump into those weaknesses, your strengths versus your weaknesses. I will a lot of times start my practice off with, and we've talked about this in practice before. There's kind of three phases to my practice. I have available to me. I can practice the songs that I am currently doing when I go out and minister. I can then practice. The second thing would be songs that I've done in the past. I like to keep things brushed up, ready to go. I never know when the Holy Spirit's going to change my set list when I go out to minister. So practicing songs that I currently do, and then I'm also practicing songs from the past. The third area are songs that I'm learning, songs that I'm probably not going to stage for a while. I'm working on those. So on a day that maybe the current stuff's not going that good, I can go back and pull something I've played for decades, has a little bit of sense of accomplishment to motivate me to dive into those areas that I really, really, really need to work on. Hey everybody, Rob Novell with the Charles Novell School of Music. CNS 26 is already off and rolling. Will take place June 21st through the 27th at Bethel University in McKenzie, Tennessee. Registration open August the 4th, and we're waiting on you. CNS is a place where you can develop your life, your music, and your ministry. Make plans now, save the date, and join us for CNS 26. All right, next one, surround yourself with support. Be around people who encourage and support you and will help you on improving yourself. Man, I have so many of these people in my life, people that speak encouragement into me. I've lost some great ones. My dad was the number one. Jeff Stice was a second. But my mom, y'all, she's my biggest cheerleader. Jen is great at helping me and speaking encouragement to me. So many of my staff members at CNS are there and are this kind of positive. Billy Blackwood is priceless in my life, y'all, because he's going to be honest with me, and he's going to encourage me, and he's going to speak into me. And here's the thing, like any vessel, you can't pour anything into a vessel if there's a lid on it. So listen, these people in your life, you need to be open to listen to what they have to say. Last thing, and we're going to wrap up today. Prepare and rehearse. How do we play from a place of confidence? Man, we've put the work in ahead of time to confidently get up and perform something, because you know what? Speaking positive affirmations over our life, we can say we have invested the time in this that was necessary. So now let's just be just ice. Let's just walk out there, sit down, and do it. We've already invested the time that we need. So learn your songs thoroughly to feel more prepared and confident when you're performing them. Man, practice makes a huge difference. We believe at CNS that an effective ministry is a polished ministry. You can go out and minister and be effective to the people that God places in front of you at your next stop if you come out there from a place of confidence where you're feeling more not qualified, but just capable through the mindset of confidence to do what it is that God's called you to do. And when you do that, I promise, if you start working from this place of confidence and you prepare yourself like you need to do, and you apply all these things we talked today, you're going to find that it's going to make today be your best day yet. Y'all be blessed. Thanks for listening to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the name the Charles Novell School of Music. And for more information on CNS and our upcoming events, like our online school, our weekend regional sessions, our creative coaching, and our pastor's retreat, you can visit us at our website at www.cnsmusic.com. As you've listened to this episode, we hope that you've gained some information that you can apply to your music and to your ministry to make today the best day yet.